Nübüvvet, hakikat arayışında peygamber ışığı.
Assalamu alaikum, peace be with you. So just starting, I will try to locate Nursi's understanding of Sunnah of the Prophet within Emil Durkheim's theory of the sacred and profane. So the way I will proceed will be as following. The first, we'll try to lay out Durkheim's theory, really what's the theory is about when he says sacred and profane. And in the second part, I will switch to the sacred word of the Quran and how it is related to the Sunnah of the Prophet. And in the third part, we will see, I will try to demonstrate how Nursi is merging the sacred and the profane. So Emil Durkheim, and again, he lived in late 19th and early 20th century, and of course his writings on sociology of religion is well known to us, even to our modern society. And it's important to keep in mind that his theory of religion, especially when it comes to sacred and profane, was a reaction to those intellectuals who regarded religion as an individual phenomena. So for Durkheim, social elements are the primary actors of human beings' life. So in order to understand what is going on in a human being's life, we need to understand the social elements. So once we explain, if we want to explain the key aspects of human beings' life, then we need to focus on the social facets of human beings' life. And of course, from his point of view, that the religion was not immune from that. So in order to understand human beings' involvement in religion, then we need to understand the social. We need to understand the social aspects. In this regard, he used the Australian, like his observation of Australian tribal cultures, and as a case study. And in these case studies, he refers to the members of the society's worship of totems and their worship and their prayers as a key to understand religion. So in his close examination of the tribals, their involvement in religion, their totemic beliefs, he comes to the conclusion that religion is a social construct. So religion is about social construct. So let me go further. And so unlike intellectuals such as Fraser, Tyler, and Freud, who reduced religion to elements of supernatural being, Durkheim observed that religion is a component of sacred. So if we understand these components, then we will be able to understand religion. So for Durkheim, there are two dichotomies in the world of a religious person. So these two poles are not natural or supernatural, but sacred and profane. So what does he mean? What does he mean by sacred and profane? So the profane, anything that is part of superior, powerful, forbidden to a normal contact, and deserving great respect is considered sacred by Durkheim. While profane is anything out of the realm of sacred. So these are the usual events and ordinary habits of daily life. So in this sense, our daily works like eating, drinking, sleeping, and going work are considered profane. They are not sacred. So then how does, so if this is, so they, just to summarize again, for Durkheim, the usual events of our daily life are profane, but anything that is powerful and out of touch, well respected, is considered sacred. So how does, so in order to locate Nursi's position within his theory, then we need to understand really the Quranic word of sacred. So as you know, in the Nursi, he talks about, in his Risala, he refers to Tawheed as one of the four majors of the themes of the Quran. And in order, from Nursi's point of view, in order for us to understand this major theme of the Quran, then we need the Sunnah of the Prophet. So without the Sunnah of the Prophet, there is no way for us to understand this major theme of the Quran, Tawheed. And that is, for him, I mean, referring to the sacred word of the Quran, one of the most cited verse in the Quran is the one that in Surah Al-Isra, the 17th chapter, and it is the 44th verse. It goes like this: the seven heavens and the earth and everyone in them glory him. There is not a single thing that does not celebrate his praise, though you do not understand their praise. He is most forbearing, most forgiving. So this is the most cited verse from the Quran that we see in the Risala. So which means that, I mean, from Nursi, based on his Quran, that there is nothing which is not sacred in this world, because all of them carries a particular sign of God, ayat. But for Nursi, in order to bring this sacredness into our life, into practice, that we need to follow the Sunnah of the Prophet. If we don't follow the Sunnah of the Prophet, there is no way for us to bring this sacred, Tawheedi sacred, into our life. That's why he refers to the prophetic Sunnah as a way to bring God into the center of our life, to bring Allah in the center of our life. And of course, he gives examples from his own life, how during the turmoils, when he would get confused with different ideas, different practices, that the only thing that would guide him would be the Sunnah of the Prophet. So in this way, it was through the Sunnah of the Prophet he would be able to bring God in the center of his life. And then he has also distinct approaches when it comes to merging the sacred and profane. So it is important for us to keep in mind, even though from the Quranic point of view there is no anything profane, but our perceptions might be either sacred and profane. And that's why Nursi, he has a distinction of self-referential, which is ma'nai ismi, and other indicative, ma'nai harfi. So that means, so it is about our perception. If you just focus on self-referential of a thing, a being, then this perception is a profane perception. But if your focus is, if your perspective is, depends on the other indicative, ma'nai ismi, then your perception will become sacred. And also he gives the example of prayers, as you may remember from the Risala. He says that, well, if a person fulfill the 5 daily prayers, then the rest of the work he or she does, or other like usual daily things, will be sacred as well. And then we know from his students that he once visited a sugar factory and talked to the people, laborers who are working there, and told them, well, because of you are working here and you are feeding people by producing sugar, then all other, and if you all other your work, we'll consider it as a prayer. But the condition is if you fulfill your 5 daily prayers. And then we have this similar occasion with railway constructors. Then he meets them. He says, if you do your prayers, all the work that you do, many hours that you spend on this railway road is considered as a prayer as well. And of course, there is again other occasions when he meets a shepherd and says, well, if you do your 5 daily prayers, again, it would be sacred if you... so there is Nursi acknowledge that there is our perceptions might be either sacred or profane, but it is possible for us to merge the profane into sacred, to combine them. So it is possible. So in this sense, so he's not completely refusing the concept of profane. So to summarize my point, my presentation, Durkheim saw religion as a social phenomenon and read religion through a social lens. He divided the acts of human beings into sacred and profane. In Durkheim's eyes, anything outside of the realm of sacred is profane. The profane acts are the ordinary habits or acts of the daily, such as working, eating, drinking, and sleeping. In Nursi's view, however, it is the human perception distorting and degrading the sacred into something profane. Following the prophetic conduct, prophetic Sunna reconnects human beings with the divine and ensures that all their actions have meaning by being sanctified. Thank you.
İstanbul İlim ve Kültür Vakfı